Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. This is called New Story. H's instructions, 3 to 5 pages. 1, old and or young women. 2, old and or young women and their efforts towards beauty. 3, not contemporary, in 1940s or 1950s. 4, an old kind of hairdryer. 5, people who are funny and like to laugh and make others laugh. A beauty shop in a small town in the Midwest. An old-fashioned hairdryer. Yeah, you know, the kind married women sit under and read magazines. There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing funny about that. Young matrons who will turn into old widows. Cat in a kitchen, jumping on the table, scratching the table. The cat has fleas. She can't help it. Elaine has a job interview on Monday. She's not going to get the job. She's overqualified. Why does she do it? Why does she put herself through it? She likes it. She considers it an adventure. We're sending Herschel to college if he wants to go. Laura, she'll marry that boy she met down in Atlantic City. The point is that all this is occurring before the Beatles. Gloria is coming over to do Elaine's hair. Elaine is going to pay Gloria $5 to do it. The $5 is a courtesy. That's what it is, a courtesy. Services are important. It's a good thing to pay for services. Things fall apart. They move toward chaos. That's entropy. I read it in Herschel's science book, his one from school. Eventually, the country will all be service industries. That's what Donald says, that it'll all be service and no products. He says it will happen in our lifetime. Why did you tell Mona what I said about Richard at Myerson's party? Secrets. Things that should have been secrets. Well, they'll all be secrets henceforth. Henceforth? It's a little late for henceforth. She's never going to forgive me. Mona is never going to forgive me, and I'm never going to forgive you. This is all occurring before we were living in a multicultural society. The people in this story are white, Caucasian. They are not ashamed. They don't know any better. The hairdryer is not a professional hairdryer, not the kind you see in the movies with the ladies sitting under them reading magazines. It's a portable home model. The cap is rubber and is attached to a hose that looks like a vacuum cleaner hose. It's a blue cap, a cross between turquoise and royal blue. The hose is attached to a plastic case with a dial on it. Off, low, need, high. The motor is inside. And then there is a shiny metal lid you can lift up. The lid is painted gold. It has ridges in it, like corrugated cardboard. There's a compartment for storing curlers and bobby pins under the lid. And then the back side of the lid is a mirror. The curlers are pink plastic. What year is this? I don't know, but it's before the Beatles and it's not integrated. People aren't even thinking much about integration at this point. Donald never thought affirmative action was the answer. No one likes to give up power in the world. It would be stupid to give up power in the world. Someone is always being discriminated against. Well, that doesn't make it any less real. Like Donald said, all of us are doomed to play our part in history. Unless we refuse. Yes, unless we refuse. If someone tries to give you something dirty, you should refuse. She was an attractive girl, but she had a very low level of self-esteem. She married that boy she met down in Atlantic City. No will. Her will had been broken. She didn't have a will. Wait a minute. This is supposed to be funny. It is funny, isn't it? No, it's not funny. It's tragic. Well, I read in Herschel's communications book that all real comedy is tragic. What music is playing on the radio? Do you hear that music playing on the radio? He told her she wasn't creative. He told her she didn't have a brain in her head. He didn't tell her that. Yes, he did. That's what he told her. What did she do? What do you think she did? She started crying. Now explain to me why that's funny. It's funny because it's tragic. Like, I laughed so hard I cried, you know? Laughing so hard you cry. I know that. You didn't say she was laughing. At first she was laughing and then she was crying. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Thank you.
I just also wanted to tell you one of the tales of learning how to distribute this book is encountering bookstores that will not sell it, and I wanted to pass the word along so that you know who these bookstores are. One of which is supposed to be the coolest bookstore on Sunset Boulevard, Book Soup. Do not go in there.
Dunn's Brentwood!
He told me I don't have the right and proper invoice. And when I asked him, well, what is the right and proper invoice? He didn't tell me. He just went back into the store. So I had an idea of setting up a little tray outside and just selling it by myself, which I think I might just do. But anyway, I do want to say, go to the other bookstores because they've been really cool about it, and they're good people. That's where censorship of the arts, right? You can't get it distributed. Okay, next person is Steve Abee. Steve?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm going to read a couple of pieces that were in this beautiful, 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 beautiful poet's feet. Beautiful, beautiful book. No, it is. It's really nicely done. I mean, it's nice to hold. Nice to hold. And this is a poem called The Rain's Poem. And the rain makes men down the wall, tongues down my throat and bodies in my belly, breathes me into little boy backyard streams, rushes mist and taillights and dragon tongues, plays a shepherd's harp with the sidewalk steam, passes sparrows along the shutters of twilight traffic, screams a siren through the sooted flowers and woodhouse windows, sings pigeons in a parking lot warbling in oily pools, marbles the faces driving the highway, cracking into a ball of smoke and seed, splintered engines and weeds. The rain takes the bread man from his truck, the dairy guy from his crates, the bus driver through her doors, to watch the stars blow dripping between smokestacks and the sunrise over a gull's disappearing wing, a dog belly glistening on the road. And the rain plays the river, and the river plays the folded lips of wax paper dolls, and the lips fold out bones and cellophane banners dangling dandelions and fruit, the delicate hands of grandfather graves. And the rain comes through the trees, comes through my eyes, whispers through my arms, stretches the streets sagging 7-Eleven signs through head-lit brains, resting between my belly and bone. Oh, these are the nights when the rain plays kids' hands on the back wall of a liquor store, and the floodlight trembles round the stretching mist, and the Budweiser neon stains the sky. These are the nights when the freeways kill and the trees lean to their lost ground, kissing the roots that break the sidewalk, leaves deviling memory in its never-stopping lips. And these are the nights When cars spin useless over the ground they do not know, and the streets long ridiculous to let their stones flow, and brains break out in dry tears at winds they do not understand, and hearts fondle the jacaranda that waves outside my door, and leaves the passing tires for those who made them. These are the nights when the world wails and rise sirens, spreading blue-tiered spiders beneath my floor. These are the nights, the mist-draped dreams, the raindrop nights, when a pigeon nests in an overpass and the traffic listens. And I shall do a love poem. They're all love poems, right? This is what we got. Which I probably don't need a microphone for. We got a big old fresh wind, tiny ocean, slow rain and roof, a star marked soft breath shaking Diablo, 3 a.m. La Angel vision. The city spread out palm soft jewels and dove's feet. Neon moaning kind rivers, dreaming beauties, only tear-talk tongue. The Little Dipper straight up over the Hollywood sign, marking the night, the boulevard, Hesher walk, AC/DC through Beethoven's sleeping lizard trees. And I first fell into your windows and sketches, your letters and bathtubs, your words and fingers. First fell into your eyes, your eyes. Oh, we got first water breaking waves, the first mouth splittering vowels, the first sun shivering in the night, fresh babies bellowing on the very first day. Oh, forever salt at the base of your neck. We got our hands together, growling temples and graves, sirens and choirs, the midnight lung of the trees, the dawn-felt spleen of the rain, the hush and dream of the traffic. We got back porch orchids, windowsill cactus, cow skulls bleached beneath the golden state, the Genesis juice of God's dark flower, the coffee shop whisper of graveyard angels, the sweat of our glorious grind, this our love-led mind. We got buses crowded with stinking men, boardwalk girls and homeboys dancing beats and bracelets, old ladies ordering ribs and hot sauce, pigeons shitting on the asphalt, razor's edge and wrong time clocks, boulevards cruising loco, by and gone, the world spinning kites and bike wheels, barrel organs, freeways and seagulls, and we perched on a beach bench in the mind of a setting sun, nibbling secret through each other's ears. We got tossed up, down, side street, glittered below, eyes closed, lips, yellow tube lights rocking in the exhaust, making out on a Ferris wheel, on a burrito eating roof, on a no one walking Glendale Boulevard curb, on a harmonica playing ledge, in a God talking, spirit blinking, absurd, empty 3 a.m. airport terminal. The red zone is for your love and your love only. We got coffee at 7-Eleven, asada at Karina's, eggs at Bickman's, scribes, sages and drunks. Think of you and I'm pulled over for a 502. We got jacaranda and airplanes, moons and empires, radios and tires, Buddha altar candles and Christmas lights year round, old shoes and cigar boxes, plastic keys and Haveline oil cans, napkins scrawled with worlds and words, dreams and birthdays pinned to our walls, tossed on our floors, heart notes, bone notes, gut notes written in the back, photo booth pictures on the back of my hands, in the button of your belly, your smell on my lips on your smell, angel baby all the time. We got a song, our song, not the same, baby, that moves us in a quiet room with the open window, letting the clouds break with our groove. We got magic markers in our ways, scribbling the sky with the verses in our toes, the language in our hands, the styles in our hips. Oh, we got ages in our lips, chanting through our seas, shaking through our bed, crawling through our hair. Woman, wrap me in your teeth, smoke me bold in your veins. Baby, let me swim as your voice flows. Oh, lover, teacher, sister, friend, we got this, have, hold, hidden angels and oceans, suns and trees, moaning slow train history. We got history. We got I love you. We got it all in our kiss.
The magazine is open to submissions from anyone, and one of the ways that I welcome new writers into it is by attending readings, and I attended one at the Onyx that Steve was reading at, so I'm really happy that you like the magazine. Okay, the next reader is also from a reading that I attended, Nancy Agabian. Nancy.
This is called I've Been Memory Fucked. I remember I was arranging lemon drops into neat, orderly rows in my parents' yellow bathroom when my uncle grabbed my ankle. He was spread into the floor tile and said, "What are you doing?" angry and faster than bullets, his eyes bulging dirt like my mother's bulbs. "You are a bad, done something wrong, little girl," his hand grip said. And I was scared, waking up until I was 7 years old. I loved him, saw my brother and sister repel from him, hate. I thought they were just being mean, but then a disgraceful period fell over me too, and I came out hating the stupid, annoying jerk-off over baby tits and clits, but I can't remember, can you? He would say dirty things like, "The word cocktail is obscene. Have you ever really thought about what it means?" while he drank one, and my parents cringed and ignored the Playboy stacked in the mothball closet. I must have sat on his lap and big finger, but I don't remember. It is away in a nightmare while I am hurt under skin with no nerve endings. I am hurt that manifests itself in my can't be touched or feel anyone without my instinct in my shoulders telling me it's wrong, I'm wrong, I've always been wrong, and here I am. I hate confessing what I didn't do anything wrong. Did he? Los Angeles. 2 youths were killed yesterday in their home. They killed each other because they were unhappy, authorities said. The 2 youths were brother and sister. "They were always such nice children," commented Emily Bruce, a longtime neighbor of the 2 youths. "They used to sweep my front stoop for me," she went on to say. The 2 youths were twins, aged 14. 14 is an age when most kids are depressed and frustrated with their often shallow, pathetic lives, the investigating police officer reported. "Lately, I had noticed they were in that awkward stage, you know, puberty," Bruce added. The 2 youths had acne when they died. The parents of the 2 youths left town today to stay with relatives in Eugene, Oregon. They don't understand what happened. They are confused and hurt. The 2 youths' mother found the dead 2 youths, according to an official police report. She had come home from a long day at work, fixing up people's greasy, stupid hair, and she was thinking she would make a lean cuisine cannelloni entree for supper when she walked through the front door and discovered the stiff, leaking blood bodies of her babies, and she screamed and cried like she never thought she would ever do, like she vomited. The father of the 2 youths found out what had happened while at work. He was taking a coffee break and joking about sex with the other guys when his wife called him. He couldn't understand her at first. The hysterical voice phone over cannelloni, blood kid corpses on the living room rug, and guns. He was sick and scared in an otherworld way, buzzing fluorescent work light. The father is a security guard at night, and the mother is a hairdresser, and their jobs wear their feet down to the nubs, and they accept life and yell at their children, which isn't really so bad, except now they think it is. Because the kids were so sick with a pain they couldn't name, they got 2 guns and shot each other at the exact same time. The girl in the stomach, the boy in the chest. She was taller. And most kids, most youths would just run away from it and do drugs or have sex. But there are all these national campaigns now that say don't do drugs and don't have sex. You'll die slowly if you do, and you'll piss off your parents at the same time. But these kids, these 2 youths wanted it over with quick. They saw it on TV. It was fast, like getting your ear or nipple or forehead pierced. And it's such a violent world. You know, it's such a violent city. Kids dead. You read about it in printed words with the morning eat the stock market presidential entertainment crash in your eyeballs, making you say fuck over and over and under your breath. Bloody puberty bodies found in the home with 1 hole in each, ripped red skin through her dress, in his t-shirt, the place where she felt courage, the place where he felt love. And the funeral for the 2 youths is tomorrow, matching caskets at the cemetery, and the counselors will talk to the school children to help them cope with this sudden trauma, city officials said. And the fuck will get passed on like it always does, from the parents to the papers, until you die, maybe in peace. While the youths are still bleeding, newspaper print all over your skin and deadness.
Yes, girl.
Next, we have a writer who has managed to be at both the New York and the LA readings, Garduno. Oh, God.
Okay. This is called Mr. Late Night. He was a drug addict. He was a professional drug addict. He was the first person I met who was truly better off on a combo of coke, pot, Valium, and booze. Not bragging, just honest, brutally honest. He was very, very smart. Why is it so many smart people are drug fiends? As he rounded the corner, my heart skipped and I liked it. I saw him and I wasn't hungry. I saw him and I wasn't tired. I saw him and my breath grew warm, deep. My face, skin, and the edges of my mouth became hot. I saw him and I wanted to arch my back so he could pull my hair longer. I saw him and I wasn't an ingenue. I felt like a Scorsese girl, dark, strong, long legs, a deep blue, red, purple girl. Day for night, night for day, morning wake-up call at midnight. Blow off auditions, dive into a 36-hour ride. Swimming in vodka, naked, twirling, dancing, bathed in a yellow streetlight, breaking through a dusty window at dawn. Your Eyes and Ricky Lee Jones's newest CD, The Only Witness. I like how I feel safe and protected in your company. You say take your clothes off, slowly, quietly, with a little smile. Gracious, grateful, and sure I'll do it. You pay very close attention to every little detail of my movements. You savor my red nail polish and dark hair. You wonder what a nice Catholic girl is doing with you. We fucked in the middle of the kitchen floor, in the middle of the winter, in the middle of a house full of Republicans. It was then I decided I wanted to be his girl. He was destined to say, you're too nice for me. I was destined to say, fuck you. It was destined to end in shit. I knew this, and I still wanted to be his girl, his skirt, his cookie, his partner in crime, his woman. I wanted it bad. I could taste it. It tasted like salt on a steak. I was seeking the dark side, the earthy, volatile, Scorpio, translucent, torrid, visceral side. I wanted the dark and light to coexist, commingle, coagulate, burst forth and melt in a spray of orange sparks and liquid lava. Hot, cool, thick, smooth waves. The way sex is when it works, when romance and ritual entwine like a braid and can be used as a rope, something to hold on to. This is called Mr. Movie Star. Okay, all right. Mr. Movie Star called, seems he's in town on meetings, but could squeeze a blowjob into his schedule if I can pop up, as it were. He'll pay for the cab, he'll pay for room service, he'll pay for my favorite bottle of wine. Gee, who could resist? Who could refuse? Who else did he call before me? If I sound bitter, it's because I am. I went because I was in the mood to wrap his long blonde hair around my wrist tight. I went because I wanted to be picked up and thrown on the bed by someone who knew how to throw. I went because I wanted to be told I was beautiful for 40 minutes. I went because I knew that while leaping uptown during rush hour on 5 minutes' notice could be considered humiliating in certain circles, I felt it had a certain Last Tango in Paris quality that I liked. I went mainly because there was nothing good on TV. I went because I knew I'd leave him wanting more, and that made me feel powerful. When does the passive female become the master? I know how to intoxicate by meeting a dare, calling a bluff, threatening to arrive in high heels and nothing else. I know how to hook them by feigning interest in dull stories about acting styles and Pacino. I know how to blush on cue. I know how to work that whole whore Madonna, good little bad little good girl thing. I know how to pretend I've never fucked in a shower before, which at the ripe old age of 31 is no small feat. He threw me on the bed, which was good. His hair had been dyed black, which was bad. My beautiful blonde Viking fantasy fuck had been transformed into a slovenly, slack-jawed, fat, dirty biker guy, minus the groovy Brando element for HBO. Trouble in Hollywood. Rather than suffer the indignities of limited travel and having to trade in his electronic hotel room key at the Pierre for the Parker Meridian, he'd opted for a quick-fix sex and violence flick and was calling it character work. So much for art. So much for important little films with integrity. Skip the chase, cut to the end. He called on Friday. Did I want dinner? He called on Saturday. Did I want dinner and a play? He called twice on Sunday. Did I want to go to Amsterdam? I was in. I heard every word. I let the machine pick up. Ah, victory. And then I had meant to read this new piece, but I forgot it.
What's it
At
called?
home. The new one?
Yeah.
Oh, the new one's called Prom Night, but it's not here, so I gotta read this other one. This is the first one I ever wrote, and it's sort of a tribute to Meg encouraging me to write. I never would have done it without her telling me to, so. This one is called, this is called 5:23 a.m. Ordering diner eggs, hash, sausage, and a six-pack delivered to the roof. Want a cocktail? Code for shall we fuck later. Raspy laugh, naughty, honey sweet grin, silver belt buckle, a perfect ass, skinny but strong, wild old-fashioned scrapper, fuck, fight, play to the death, a scruffy beautiful mutt that once won, sticks, growls, biting your neck, pinning your arms, grabbing your hair tight at the collar, watches your face like a hunter. Where's the man who will lick my neck the way my cats lick each other? He's inches from my face, watching me like a hunter, waiting for the perfect strike, striking oil, striking gold. He's got black, sweaty little boy curls against opaque skin, smooth Irish-Italian skin. He smells of vodka, cigarettes, dark dive bars bathed in red light, Dylan, Cocker, and Armstrong on the jukebox, 8 songs for $1. Smoky women with eyes half open like flags set at half-mast when somebody's died. Sad and regal, those late-night girls. But tonight I don't care, because I've won. I've won. My voice drops 2 octaves when I'm with him. When I'm with him late. When I'm with him naked. When I'm with him sweaty. I'm quiet. I'm still. He's watching me like a hunter. He says my face is like a prism. Calls me an Indian girl. We play chase the ice cube. His cool, wet mouth on my breast. I arch. I stretch. I'm very still. I want to suck on his breath like a cat. Slowly, slowly, arms pinned, hair pulled tight, chase the ice cube carefully over the curve to the neck, slide up into my mouth. Cool, clear water, hot, cold, smoky, clear, clean kiss. What do you want? What do you like? What do you like? What do you want? I don't answer. I like to fuck over tables. I like to dance naked on a chair wearing your hat. I like Stolichnaya kisses. I like to be hunted. In his kiss, I don't answer. Taken for a ride, taken through the loop, taken around the bend. In his kiss, I'm red light, I'm smoke. I'm last tango minus the sad ending. I'm a perfect pool shot. In his kiss, I'm in love with a man who smells like vodka. I used to love a man who smelled like redwoods. I once loved a man who smelled like salt. I almost loved a man who smelled like shampoo. I tried to love a man who smelled like cotton. But in his kiss, I'm in love with a man who smells like vodka. Must be New York. Must be grown up. Must be late. I'm a perfect pool shot. He's Tom Waits and Gatorade.
Next reader is Willie Mullings.
The club. I'm at this club. Too loud. The band is doing a sound check. Engineer at the controls says okay in that engineer way. All the while thinking, you guys suck. And you suck very loudly. Ever heard of dynamics? But this is how the Beatles began, in a cave filled with sweaty teens, smell of piss and beer, and were discovered by some Liverpool queer. This might have been a mistake coming here tonight, but no, I'll stay, see what it ends up like. I smell a fart. I wonder where it emanates from. Somebody fart, man? I think it's the rain. It's coming from the bathroom, musicians say in that musician's way. The coffee's strong. Upstairs, the TV's blaring that We Love You Desert Storm crap. A compilation of faces polished and done, seen a million times over, sending their sincerest heartfelt thanks to our men and women in the Gulf. I turn away. Back downstairs, sound check. Find a table a distance away from the drummer, banging thick stick on tympanic membrane, loud guitars, electric penises raping ears like penitentiary cocks in virgin buttholes. Little nymphettes with fake ideas nod heads approvingly. The little masochists, we're with the band, we're on the guest list. They say to the doorman with a bud in hand. Meanwhile, across the street, a flock of penguins come from parking lots in neat tailored clothes, expensive cologne, to the theater go like Pillsbury dough. Rich fabrics, perfume, and suburban chatter make me puke. Downtown, it's a different matter. I wish they were all rendered fucking homeless. They're paying big bucks to be entertained, to gain insight from the staged misfortune of others. Oh, merciful Mother of God, help me. Back inside the club, I find a table a comfortable distance away and write, amidst the dissipating fart. Any minute now, the band will start. This is my right hand. I use it to wipe my ass. I jack off, and I shake your hand. It's true. It picks my nose, cleans my toes, and smells a rose. With my right hand I do solemnly swear arms to bear for the United States, and in the course of war may come back scarred or amputate. With my right hand I hold the apple that I could at one time bite, but now my bleeding gums do not allow, so I must use my right to peel and slice, or else eat a banana. My right plays triplets in the Moonlight Sonata and the most beautiful melody of a Chopin waltz. It holds my son's hand walking and my lover's pulse talking in bed. With my right hand I count the money that buys the honey for all my friends. My right hand pulls my balls, takes a leak, and rubs your tits. When you shake my hand, look into my eyes and know these things. Feel me, hurry before it's too late. My right hand searches for your right hand, for an everlasting lover, or an everlasting friend, for an everlasting month, or week, or an everlasting minute. And my first decently published poem. Thank you, Meg. Mine is called Jesus is Coming to LA, and my apologies to the people in Nicaragua. Jesus is coming to LA. I can't wait for the earthquake. Everything tumbling down, what a sight. The great equalizer. Rich and poor alike annihilated. Once and for all erased from face of earth. I'm not disturbing you, am I? Oh, please don't shake. There'll be plenty of shaking. A good old quake. Sacred. Uniting us for a violent instant. Jews, Gentiles, and atheists repentant. I'm going to fucking crack up when the earthquake hits. Yeah. Jesus is coming to LA. Thunderous tremor. Get your water bottles ready, you survivalists out there. Me, I'm gonna laugh. I will masturbate when the ground shakes. Buildings come crashing down, let it shatter my penis into ground, squashed to a pulpy state. And ejaculate, shooting to the heavens, falling in the cracks, saying, Jesus, it wasn't my fault. Line after line of people swallowed up by jaws of death. Thank you, Jesus, for coming and saving us from ourselves. Greed, evil, lust for power. You are the great equalizer. LA will turn to rubble like Hollywood before it was the slime it has become. Oh, let it hit tomorrow so that all the haves become have-nots. Justice prevailing over the sorry lot. Money, property, prestige in serious trouble. I can't wait to catch a glimpse of face losing all material worth. Never mind the children of the earth. They are secondary. Jags and villas, primary concerns. Then little Marie. Oh, dearest Marie, it isn't fair that you should die in such despair. We were just closing escrow, a home in Bel Air. I can't wait for that fucking earthquake to hit, to hear the tragic symphony, thunderous crash, the wails and moans of the pathetic mass, sinking, swallowed up by the earth. From dust we come and dust return, covered head to toe in ash. Sacred. Oh, I don't know. I'm tired of smog, of dog-eat-dog, and green-blooded demons. I will delight to see this Cecil B. DeMille production, but for real, the end of the fucking big deal. L.A.
Before our next reader, I wanted to read you a bit that I found very inspiring. A lot of people ask me how I choose the poetry, and I found this Adrienne Rich passage to be summing up how I feel. I want for daily life a passion that subverts the cool blankness, the manic speech of the buyers and sellers who are our leaders. Passion that can't be managed, packaged, or freeze-dried into group therapy formulas. I want voices speaking from lives and landscapes not necessarily known to me, yet sharing boundaries with mine. I want poetry that refuses the commoditizing of women's lives, whether as kinky, vicious Madonnas or as Madonnas of moral superiority. I look to this art for all the complexity I can get, words that can be read and reread without being used up. So that's my requirement. Our next reader is a veteran of all 4 issues. Yes, there are 4 available. No, number 2 is sold out. Sorry, I take it back. Shar Senor.
For Chris, your fleeting attention, hummingbird darting from morning glory to morning glory, sipping nectar artfully, wings beating faster than video frames on an editing console, gathering up experience like sustenance. 6-year-old boy in a candy store, reaching for goodies with both hands. Each one looks more tempting than the next. His pockets spill over, his cheeks are full. How can I judge your fleeting attention? Look no further. I will stay with you cautiously, the way clear blue sky holds the promise of a thunderstorm, carelessly, the way winter wind carries a newspaper, reluctantly, the way some old tune lifts the broken spirit of a juke joint regular. But if you want me, fearlessly, freely, without hesitation, pause between lilies, stop and taste the savory in your mouth. Remind me of my wildest days when you were learning nursery rhymes. Then we will part, with the tender melting of a union complete, not the wrenching of worn brake drums slamming to a halt. And if you remember something of us, remember this. The gift of knowing one another is a dove in our hands. It surprised me too. The next one for my mother. It's called Slowing Down. She polishes the silver carefully, wraps it in plastic, puts it away in the cabinet with the other rare objects I could never identify. She is more concerned about little things, arriving early, planning each day, finding the papers she lost a moment ago. She offers advice more often, one's content to let me flounder. Her words have taken on the urgency of too much to say and too little time to say it. Her brisk-paced walk has slowed, once invincible, now a target on the streets where unruly men eye their prey, purse snatchers knock them down and run. The life of the mind, always touted as important, has become an obsession. She reads constantly, wants to share everything she knows with anyone who will listen. Convenient to live in the mind as the body gives way. She calls aging an insult. I react to her like a 17-year-old, as if my regression could stop her march toward the end of her life. She drives too slowly. Cars honk and accelerate around her. She passed her last driving test. She says people her age are boring, always discussing their health problems. I ask her if she wants me to point out what I see. She says, there are some things I may not want to look at. Last is a short story. City of Jade. Passing windows displaying carved jade figurines, through crowds speaking in lilting tones, the taste of hand-rolled delicacies on my tongue. Crisp San Francisco wind blows my hair, your smoke fills my clothes. Still in my lungs, fragrance of eucalyptus. Still in my eyes, amber and golden leaves, against my skin, the lingering sensation of your touch. Christmas carols ring through loudspeakers, beckoning passers-by to cross the threshold into shops where black cameras, multicolored toys, and sparkling beaded purses wait for those who can buy. The street crowd is frenzied, thickening as the day wears on. Against this backdrop appear phantom images of last night's show. A young man circles a rope at high velocity. The steel blade attached to the end of the rope cuts through space, then comes to rest against his body in perfect stillness. A woman in red springs into the air, suspended, motionless, then lands, crouched like a tigress on the gymnasium floor, power contained within her pose. During one exhibition, a teacher shaves his blade a few centimeters from his student's eye. They complete their demonstration without interruption. No one knows the extent of the injury until the following morning when the student, escorted by his teacher, passes through the lobby wearing a large blood-soaked gauze on his forehead. He carries himself with dignity as testament to the danger inherent in these arts. Early this morning, I watched sword training in the park, a painstaking process of teaching movement patterns. During a break, I walked through a canopy of eucalyptus trees. Flung like confetti on the ground are small brown seed pods. I bend down to examine the tiny stars etched on each one. From several yards away, a Dalmatian bounds across the sun-swept park grounds to nuzzle my jean-clad leg, his master pulled along behind him. Tethered to his leash, but undaunted, he greets me, then flies off in another direction. I, too, am dancing with chains. I know this is temporal. I neither rejoice in temporality, nor do I mourn it. We share a rhythm, a flow, a fire, but no destination. Only a few feet of impenetrable space between us. Only a few hours until I must return to what you call reality. You taunt me with reality, as if it were a stranger about to seduce me, as if I didn't know the coolness of your absence from my warmed bed, the terror of a sleepless night, the silence of a solitary dawn. I taste the reality of small disappointments. The first room we entered, a dimly lit hotel room, rumpled beds, dirty sheets, sopping wet bathroom floor, an empty bottle of Jack Daniels on the dresser. I faced the reality of being recognized, cast aside from the group segregated in the bleachers. My newfound friends motioned to me from the VIP section, unaware of my second-class status. At a timeless juncture in the late afternoon, you sit in a windowsill smoking. The window looks out on 4 gray walls and a fire escape. Somewhere behind the clouds, it is sundown. No longer hiding your pain from me, your smoke permeates the room. We are absorbed in grayness. I think of Chicago winters. I learned to drive in the city in snow, sleet, ice, and fog. I shared the road with hostile motorists, crossed narrow bridges, drove potholed back streets, pulled U-turns in private driveways, double parked in alleys, bet against empty meters, made left turns on yellow lights. Don't be mistaken, I can navigate these streets alone. Back on Grant Street, I walk alongside of you. The gray smoke has cleared, the colors are now vivid. We move with the crowd, weaving ourselves like strands of thread through the living fabric of pedestrians. As we walk, I hear drums resounding, large-bellied, skin-covered barrels, beating rhythms as old as the martial arts themselves. The drummers wear headbands like homeboys. They move in unison, trained to pound out ancient battle cries. The drumming in my ears drowns out the sound of traffic, the carolers, the nine-toned voices. I prepare to wage war with the city of Jade and return home with the treasures I find here.
Next reader is Nicole Dillenberg.
Well, I've never had to wear eyeglasses at a poetry reading before, and I'm devastated. Anyway. Okay, getting old. How it really happened. That baby was our baby. He chose me first. He seesawed in my hammock skirt trimmed with red bell pepper slices. His scalp was red lint. I want one, I said, remember? That baby was our baby, in spite of his parents. He was our mythic icon, and I intend to lay claim to my half of him, seeing as you've immortalized yourself via self-congratulatory proclamations of import on our baby's life. Considering you'd lay his testiness on me whenever he'd cry or crawl off to a corner somewhere with the LA Weekly, you have some nerve excising me out of history. If you're the happy godfather, what does that make me, the weary babysitter? And how do we divvy him up? Do you take the Buddha half while I take the goddess half, or vice versa? Perhaps you should take the eyes and I'll take the hair. Or if you want his hair, I should have his fingers, nose, and belly button in trade. Do we split him from right to left down the middle? Divide him 4 ways so his actual parents can have some? Let him call the shots now that he can talk? Please, don't obliterate me completely. Have mercy. Okay. This is for Eric Brown.
Eric!
There was a hippie in the courtyard at Speculator with long nails mucked green. While the Christian teenagers were retained indoors, we children sang with them. Like same-sex bathing before pubescence, This was permitted because hippies were gentle with children. They told the truth. They told us stories, like the one about the Ouija board and the girl named Karen, who kept trying to spell X marks the spot. The next morning, there was a perfect X on Karen's forehead. Hippie stories always had dramatic payoffs. In high school, hippies were bikers who had done a term or two in jail. They played stranger songs, always originals, about chickens or deviants. They didn't have surnames and gave out phone numbers belonging to friends with ready sofas. Discrimination against hippies was as sacrilegious in those days as racism against minorities used to be. There was a hippie in the courtyard of my apartment building yesterday. Hippies don't sing to kids anymore. Instead, they ask passing cars for work or food and toddle barefoot into the sunny, shitty horizon line. This is called Style Maker. It's a little old. It's a love poem. I find there's sort of like a 2 or 3 year lag with these love poems, so it's sort of obsolete, but it's finished, so I'm reading it. Anyway. I miss your weightlessness dazzling me like a nebula. I do not care that so many of the dead lie in bed with us, for my hand, like petals inverted, can rest upon your doll-like head in offering, guarding you from becoming too subjected to my hunger. They tell me I will not feel this way again, that this deep feeding will decompose us, that I will nurse you until you are dry, and then there will be only your stumped tongue and my wanderlust. I love you in each conscious moment on a repetitive basis, according to the Roman calendar. I tell you this wordlessly, because it is a promise, and so I cannot keep it. Say it. Mon amitié n'est pas finie, promised an ashtray we kept by the door when I was a child, and we are still not finished. Yet there I am, voluntarily gone, gone, gone. I miss your weightlessness like vapid sand shoveled onto me, breathing the smell of every summer. I do not mind the obliteration of my body into a heady melding. You hold my soul in your mouth, and you are so gentle with it. And then this is actually the first one and Plural, which I'm about to read, are both in this beautiful book, which I hope all of you who have not already bought one will buy. You'll be happy you did. Okay. Plural. I dreamt of Beths all night, some with red hair, some in temple skirts, spreading pennies and manna over ritual fires littered with gravel in the lobby of the Raj Hotel. Her mother, all these Beths had one, barred me entry, falling to distractions like spirits or stars, making beds in the doorway, steering all givens there. I tried to explain to her multiple daughters, sun screaming flint at their red lashes. I had a trinity of visions, I said. I waited them out without running or counting down, and suddenly I'm a sage with kisses that have aged well, and the Beths are my daughters, and instead of wanting what I want what's best, and my tongue delivers a new word, hikaton, and then the doorways become trusting of me, so I enter the lobby and pitch pennies onto the fires, mourning. Thank you.
I did not build the set. So speaking of the dedication, our next poet is Eric Brown, who I was introduced to when he crashed one of our readings. Eric.
Watch the falling lights.
How fast, tornado? Can't even blow out a match? Go home, you loser. Her face is on fire. tears won't put out the fire. Throw her in the tub. Marvelous, darling! So very fab to see you. Shoot me in the mouth. Don't go outside without a shield. It is not safe in street nor field, nor valley, nor alley, nor sunken drunken galley. You might be okay in a very small cave. I there might fillet and soul be saved, or under the surface of an opaque lake with a snorkeling reed for the air intake. Take heed, death from above, unseen, unannounced, upon thy lineable form may pounce the harpy. She's gangrene green and twice as mean as a junk-sick skunk or a wolverine, a wolf, a general, a psycho-denied or demerol. The reflex won't defend us from her hideous and horrendous claws. When she sleeps, she looks so peaceful, a baby in a blanket. But if she awakes and you've poison to take, you'll be thankful that you drank it. Ah! The body's in convulsions. Can you call up Jet Propulsion Labs to get me off the planet and out of the harpy's reign? Oh, rocks! They only delve in crabs unmanned. I await my fate on Terran land, a certain death by shrieking stabs. From the face of a cliff where the air is thin, much too scary for the brothers grim, the birdwoman rests in her birdwoman nest that she made from chewed up, spat out skin. Her feathers are filthy, her hair is blood cake, and her lips hide a dark purple tongue. I slide past her tongue and into her lung, and she coughs. She hacks. A wise man would make tracks, but what would a wise man be doing? I ask. In a nest from which he'll most likely be flung. I am birdseed. Everything began to ripple and fade until in stark terror they realized that they existed only in the mind of a sleeping emu, Warren Gubb. We live in a circuitous dream of a being that floats across the universe for eternity, reaching points that it has previously passed after the passing of a thing called an eon. Imagining what it would be like if anything existed but itself, other entities or sounds or words, the evolution of matter and energy from a single head of a pin nothingness to complex bundles of element, through the needle eye of memory and back to the head of the pin, so alone with a brain so craving the companionship of something external to itself that it imagines gases cooling and hardening and succumbing to the pull of balls of light. All of these fictions, mere imperfections in its organ of sight, and the illusion never completely persuades, doubt is never interred, and within a fraction of the eon, it allows the inhabitants of the non-existent worlds to think they have become self-aware, and go half mad, trying to learn from whence they came, multiplying and functioning by ingesting that which does not ingest them. And there are moments when the desire to reach through the dream becomes so strong that they almost will themselves into existence. But the desire is always overwhelmed by an affinity for destruction, and the dream shrinks back to the original notion, what it would be like. And the collapse proceeds, the light recedes, and the being floats past the point previously seen, imagining. Woo! Give me a shot of sun with a wind chaser in a bar where there is no last call, or walls, or stools, or grim men with hardened arteries, absorbed by images of scarred juggernauts trying to cross each other's lines and stop each other from crossing each other's lines. Get me fucked up beyond all recognition on oxygen and fruit, gravity and flight, pollen and dung. Oh, I cannot walk a straight line because the glaciers only cut them crooked. If I blow into your device, it will register gases from the first picosecond. Long before the sun was intoxicating or the wind was around to make it go down smooth. Keep me away from heavy machinery, because I'll most likely throw sand in the gears, dirt in the robot's ears, and the next thing that robot will hear is, "You've done well, son. You made the manufacturer proud. Now just open up that little chest plate, pop out the coil that makes you go, and with that last electrical spasm that some are insecure enough to believe is the soul departing to collect its reward, heave your heart out over the cornfield, and maybe some farmer will see it and swear to the 9 o'clock news that he's just seen a bona fide UFO."
Our next writer and reader also runs a wonderful series at the Electronic Cafe called Telepoetics, which hooks up international poets. You should go check out this one. Coleman's going to be reading on Friday, I think. Merilene M. Murphy. Thanks, Margaret. My middle M. Margaret. Ready. This is the Ready series. Ready 1. Real ready. If it comes up before seas, parched before trees, stone, if it comes up, mention to the trade skin fence, any town, mention. We are and forever cousins, belong here, wherever. To sing the we are and forever cousins, scat our now a scat, scat our now a scat, scat our now a scat, our now, bone rattles of chromosome opus, our now, octoroon thirsty, ace cold train sweated, jumping off this blue, green, brown terrain, bursting babies. Sheet music of blood nut bursting babies and flora out mountains in a song of color, sweet color. Jumping off fair play, any town, U.S. of world. Fair play, birthing up song, fair play. Strong as white, this side of pink on round to ink black, this side of complete. Jumping off in the wee time is a birthing hum, a frustrated skin on skin misery. Ready to break water and sing the wee humming, fair play, our now we. So ready to sing we. Real ready. Ready to. Here, wherever, by never before. As much get ready as set go. Pieces, no words anarchy. And every which way by never before, one victory for us all.
as much everyone as each one. We belong here wherever Ken line first start, long light to here we are. Blood, nut, meteor, burst, blood, skin, bone, skin, shine, strong as harmless, whatever's we do. Strong as harmless, whatever's we do. Bright as harmless, whatever's we do. As much for everyone as each one, for ours are borrowed pleasures. Will we forgive us our incomplete additions, our definitions weak, loudly shallow, our science far behind now, our war mind? Ism, schism, will we forgive ourselves and share our borrowed pleasures finally tomorrow now? Will we forgive us our brow sweat powerlessness in death's anteroom, awaiting one more breathtaking, because ours are borrowed pleasures? Will we forgive us our apathy, our forgetting we are cousins off the high star one, our night split twilight melons, enough purple pits to fly out our mouths, circles, as much moon as sun, as much moon as sun, as tools, as hands working our borrowed pleasures. Will we remember peace and be ready now? As much ready as set go, peace is Noah's anarchy, and every which way by never before, one victory for us all. Ready 3, dialogue. All she says was, "It's too strong. Been going on too long. War to peace economy will never be." But you said, wrong, way wrong. War to peace economy is say ready, say now. It's time, think one world. You say, think oneness, be unique. He says, put your mouth tonight sometimes. Eat some twilight. Sometime in Mayan 20 lit on 5,000 years, it's on you to put your mouth on, your hands in your greatness. Then you said, if you eat your greatness, this bone rattle is history's last anti-people shake, is our last skin-on-skin misery. The trees said, listen. Skies scratch hot gray blues to hear you stop. Listen closely to never thought and breeze, cool breeze. She agrees our world still sounds open, open as self-power, loud keys in our mouths, sounds safe, doors open. Sounds safe, no strangers, no doors, no gangsters, safe sounds open as first star speaking dawn, night. And jazz, stony dazzle, and you say, coming from where impossible is not, and you say, coming from where impossible is not, our world sounds open. We say, and our mouths full of each other's tongues, smooth saliva and suck flow, we define cannots can by breathing. We say in our mouths, full of each other's tongues, wind cluck, we suck no war. Air clack, we blow no war. Peace icons between our chapel teeth. Gale sing, we suck no war. Breeze say, we below, no war, peace glyphs behind our feet's fast lips, and nothing lasts longer than taste in our mouths of each other's tongues. We say, chink-eyed African-American, naughty-head, Buddha, blue, blonde, Jew, Blackfoot, Boer, Zulu, Gypsy, Boricua, Dane, Armenian, Celt, Nice, in our mouths, full of each other's tongues. Satisfaction is unknown, truth square, world round, arch as sound in our mouths, full of each other's tongues. We move through space and time to taste our peace, and nothing lasts longer.
Alright, next is another veteran of poetsfeet, and a local favorite, Mr. Ron Frank.
Show the disc.
Drink the juice? Have you hugged your poet's feet today? If you haven't, I think there's still a couple more copies back there. You should help yourself to buy one. You sure I'm in here?
Oh!
Well, my name isn't Chet Wiener, it's Ron Frank.
Chet Wiener!
You got your luncheon meats mixed up. This is something I wrote for someone who died recently, a member of the family. You probably knew him, actually.
Winnie Mandela.
Earl Scheib, when he was 5, had a good friend who had a sled. One day the sled did hit a tree, and Earl said, "I will paint your sled for free." And when a rock would roughly strike the shiny wheels of a guy named Mike, Earl said loud about the trike, "Mike, I'm gonna paint your bike." The word soon spread around the school that Earl was just a painting fool. If Earl had said, "I'd hate to paint on what you ride," everyone knew Earl probably lied. Around the time when he was 8, his pop decided to set Earl straight. "You got the right idea, Earl, by and large, but son, you really should charge." "That's my only complaint," old young Earl was told. "Work for free if you want to, but the paint should be sold." Earl didn't get it right off. Earl Scheib didn't really care. His reason for working, simple enough, was that he so loved getting paint in his hair. But on the day when he turned 9, the saint of paint posted a sign. "I will paint whatever you drive for the cost of a nickel." That's right, I said 5. And that's how his car painting empire was born, by sprucing up all things with tires that looked worn. For 40 years' time, his paint business did thrive. Assembly line quality, 1995. But then something happened. Or was it inflation? The prices were rising at Earl's painting stations. $29.95? $39.95? $49.95 in 1979? Oh my God, what happened to Earl? Had he lost his mind? What could all the people do? Who for help could they possibly call? Not the guy from 82, or certainly not Eddie from Zachary All. Nope, Kennedy's dead, so there's no one to turn to, nowhere to look to fulfill this need, to keep the low prices that Earl guaranteed. The last time I saw Earl, he turned 119 and said, "I'll paint your car for $7,895.95. It's a sad sign of the times that something is lost when there's nothing that rhymes with what Earl Scheib's costs. And here, before I end this verse, I'll warn you now, it'll just get worse. Earl Scheib's not really dead.
And in the year 2006, he'll still be up to his TV tricks. For $49,009,095, Earl will paint, if civilians still drive. And the choice to repaint will not be easy. It may make you faint, at least make you queasy. Is this a luxury I want to afford, or pay for my kids' college room and board? Tennyson venison, poet stew. Dickinson chicken soup, Keats fondue. Whitman in a candy, Alcott in a can. Poe in Polish sausage. Coleridge with bran. Thoreau a la stroganoff, Marvell a la mode. Fresh baked Blake borscht ice cream cake, Wordsworth legs of toad. Ferlinghetti Romano, Frost and Burns pot pie. Shakespeare bacon, waffles Byron, Sophocles poached eye. The missiles crossed the heavenly sky. On this beautiful day, who'd have guessed that narrow men would paint the blue with white scars of a peacetime test? What is that, Mom? The children cried. Performance art in the sky? We hope it's a test, the natives confessed. What a beautiful day to die. We sound like disco diaphragms up here. See? I called my friends that I could reach and said, let's go down to the beach. Although the summer was far from fading, agreed we were to just go wading. Ironic we must choose to wear protective gear and rubber boots. Too toxic now, and we must fear such simple things as bathing suits. My poems are like fish. I catch them best not noticing the bank I'm sitting on. Yet, sitting, attentive, watching the flowing stream, they leap at me. And when I am not there, sitting by the water, the fish, caught up in the current, end up downstream, poured into the ocean, or maybe they swim upstream, past the cutting rocks, to a calm pool where they spawn a new generation, then die. Because kind of as an intro to this one. Poems about writing are things I make faces at, like this one. This one is called The Muse's Revenge. No, I can't. I don't have time. Okay, I'll tell you, I'm no mime. To tell the truth, I think it's slime to write a poem that has a rhyme. And now we're getting down to it, I'll be quite honest. Poems are shit. It really makes me want to spit. Have fun and throw poems in a pit. I was in a cynical mood when I wrote this. And when I wrote it, I took my pen and I capped it, or so I thought, and I put it in my pocket. And then, not even a minute passed when there was this huge ink thing because I put the pen in my pocket backwards. So there was this big thing of ink on my shirt. And then suddenly I felt these lines come. Don't throw our poems into the dirt. You stain our poems, we'll stain your shirt. I couldn't make that up. I want to kill the ice cream man. I want to shoot him dead. I must extract his ice cream jingle from my tortured head. My neighborhood is where he drives round every afternoon. And without fail, his truck every day plays the same tune. If he had variety, it wouldn't be so bad. The song, it stays the same, you see. His truck just drives me mad. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of joy and a world of fear. It's a joy we can share when we all are aware. It's a small world after all. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of joy. It's a world of fears. It's a joy we can share when we all are aware. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. You don't even get that. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. One more time. You see, in a small and perfect world, it would be like that. The problem with the song is just the part that hurts my brain. The ice cream song repeats one verse. The song has no refrain. Normally I am unmoved. I rarely am a violent guy. The neighborhood won't be improved till someone makes that driver die. I love ice cream. I hate that man. He sure does have his luck. Because I have no dynamite, he still can drive his truck. Maybe even it is a small world. Maybe it is a small world after all. The hood's too small for me and that man, and one of these days he's taken a fall. Maybe even it is a small world. Maybe it is a small world after all. But one of these days, however I can, I'm ending the life of that ice cream man. Jesus stole my stereo. I must have made him mad. I guess I got off easy though. He could have told his dad. The neighborhood watch, it did no good. In the face of the Lord, the program was botched. As Jesus broke into my car, the neighbors stood and the neighbors watched. He jimmied open the trunk of my car. It happened Easter morning. If I transgressed, he went too far. He could have given me a warning. The night before, I read my poem when Jesus came to bingo. And from my car, in front of my home, went my pull-out deck and my sliding thingo. Eternal damnation to a town like LA is not much worse than water retention. But piss off God's son, he'll not wait a day. With your stereo gone, he gets your attention. This addresses a major global injustice, which I'd like to address right now. Texas is a generous place. There's lots of room there on its plate. It honors in its hungry space the cities from almost every state. There's Boston and Detroit, Albany and Memphis, included in its topographical brew. Contained also in its civic synthesis are cities from all over Europe too. There's London and Naples, Athens and Paris, Milano, Turkey, and Florence. Why Europe's have no Texases, there's no excuse for defense. In France, though you check how the war of the sexes is, nowhere you inspect shows that Europe's have Texases. You get my point? See what I mean? Why is there no German Abilene? No Lubbock, Luxembourg? No Waco, Spain? For Texan justice, my plea is plain. When in Rome, Texas, you do as the Texans do. Say howdy in Italy, and they will just look at you. It would be weird, I must admit, if there were a lot of Swiss Joe Bobs. But for Europe to have no Texases, those Europeans sure are snobs. To Native Americans, it's Columbus who vexes. But look around Spain. Donde e pluribus Texas. Vive la France is how some say the saying goes. But if you ask me, the phrase begs to be, go ahead, remember those Alamos. I do not mean here to complain, to cause a jumbo ruckus. It's simple fairness that I seek on behalf of the state of big old Tuckus. And this is just one example though, it's not just Texas. In Georgia, we have Athens with its adventurous school of musical thought. But does Greece have a Georgia, or Texas, to grace on its face? You may think that it does. It does not. Okay. And I shall conclude with this one. When you fly, how do you choose exactly which airlines to use? Is it safety, or cheap fares, or big legroom, comfy chairs? The airlines offer something new, competing and enticing you. While you travel at great heights, enjoy new service on their flights. To save you time up in the air, they have installed a barber's chair. And as you fly from here to there, Continental cuts your hair. About your feet, are you unsure? Fly Piedmont, get a pedicure. For styling coats, tailored pants, and great French toast, just fly Air France. Need oral surgery with laughing gas? Try Delta Air, fly dental class. For complete tooth care and good hygiening, eat peanuts first, then get your cleaning.
For the diehards. I would like to thank Mike for allowing us to use this space. It's a wonderful space, so thank you. Can I have my book back, Ron, so I can read from it?
Oh, yeah.
Fire. I'll start off with a poem that's in here. From a collection I'm trying to pull together called In the Language of Women. And it's called We Women. We women that feel the man inside, long after he's gone, not called long after he's gone, not back to you, but to another or no one long after he's gone. We wake in the middle of dreams, feeling absence next to us. His ghost skin, his ghost scent stays way deep inside of us like a precious book inside a gold gem case, kept so deep we sometimes forgot for centuries. We kept it so deep, so tight, it sometimes turns to solid rock, a lump somewhere we didn't feel before, or deep inside where our blood flows like burgundy for days, wrapped in our own selves, well guarded. We women mourn, its pain embedded. We women moan, its fragrance stunning. And this is also from the same collection. Just a little fact I want to read that inspired this. That episodes of domestic abuse and forms of violence claim a new victim every 15 seconds, and it was responsible for 3 out of 4 women killed in America last year. So this is called Never Take It Lightly, and it's to my cousin, the next generation. Never take it lightly. It is never to be taken lightly, this raised hand struck across our skin. Never take it lightly, this festered contempt amongst our men. He may be your father, he may be your husband, he may be your lover, while making love, even pretending to hurt, but never take it lightly. At the first sign of vileness, smothered in passion, do not excuse it so politely. Never take it lightly. Your daughter, your mother, your sister cannot learn to take it in the eye, on the face, on her skin, cannot learn to live with it sometimes for 60 years. Never take it lightly. Because what he does in the bedroom will be what he does in the boardroom, will be what he does in the boys' room, will be what he'll do to you. Never take it lightly. Never take it lightly. Send them away from your skin, until they too will no longer take it lightly. Yeah. Since moving back east, I've been working on this poem called Writing the Family History, trying to sort out my years growing up in Connecticut. So this is Writing the Family History, Chapter 1, which is also in this issue. 1986. Irena, robust on her 60th birthday, sank deep into such terror in those tulip eyes she could not explain. 1945, perhaps an uncle, Jankowski, buried in a mass grave with a Prussian general, also married to a Kruszewska, might tell this story better. 1834, Madame Curie Skłodowska, driven to discovering radium, she could not see her own end either at the time. The family history contains a few heroes, even a documentary on the beekeeper, matchmaker, sugar-eating grandfather, and cowards too. Copies of handwritten letters, whispers of attempted suicides, money scandals over bottles of vodka, and of course drinking problems. We are, after all, Polish. Lessons in May learned from the very Catholic Church. There were even several nuns, a lust for the monastic, and America, Paris, Russia, war, and America again. A clever family, sturdy except when they die prematurely in fields and factories, quiet except for the flamboyant, tied to pieces of land in Skłodów and Kresy, later factories in Bridgeport, then universities in the West, ardent, ambitious, a bit nervous all the time, the hollow-eyed look of the newly arrived, or POWs. I take notes of what I still can hear. The family history starts unraveling at Thanksgiving reunions, 4th of July picnics, a sweet 16th birthday, and weddings not attended by her family. It stops abruptly during years of mutual silence, but really more silence than words now. Writing the Family History, Chapter 2. In the family, the females abound, who do not wed and do not birth. They are strong and become both mothers and fathers to the children that await them. The men do not fare as well. In the small village, cousin, Mary's cousin, he is tall, all angle-formed from jaw to angle. She is round like goose-down pillows. This village has been raped. Russians, Germans, it is always one or both. Massacres, massacres, and more massacres every other decade, it seems. The unspoken is even more horrific. There were also these Poles there in those camps. Half of his family vanished and despised. Gypsies, and after a certain point, really anyone who looked at you crooked, causing such deeply embedded grief. Brutality becomes the learned weapon, paranoia the chivalrous shield, and flowers everywhere, wrapped around maypoles, outdoor altars in the hayfields. This is where one cousin boy died, my age, fierce red hair, his motorbike the only joy of being fast in the Cowstown family village. It would have been from alcohol otherwise. The silent dreams that waken me worse than gunshots I heard in that old house on Beach Street. Red and white eagle Polish flags flying in the middle of little Puerto Rico. Nationality at its best, fierce, defiant, and ignoring the obvious. And always flowers everywhere. Red poppies this time, tucked into 1950 baggy men's jackets with war medals, veterans with ulcers and canes. This is what remains of the old land. Traveling with myself. She had to move through the world with a sense of being a man now, a certain freedom in going anywhere, whenever, of making the night hers. She took walks in all hours of midnight in capital cities during major holidays, riding buses to East Harlem. She made the night hers. I'm stopping it from frightening me. I'm meeting it halfway. I'm diving into the lushness of the dark. I'm lying awake in a black velvet hammock. I seek out its smells, its perversities in small cities and big towns, its promises. It is 9 p.m. It is midnight. It is 2 a.m. It is 4 in the morning. It reveals to me all my hallucinations and sometimes my visions. There is no home in this dark. There is no being near a fire. I become the fireball. I tear through the utter blackness. It is violent, it is strong, it is courageous, it is serene, it is blindness and terror. It is a certain ecstasy of revelation. It peaks when I see others' eyes, the few that are also in this luring blanket touching my skin. I run to it now. I seek it out like gems in coal. I adore the irrefutable dark. I cannot call it back. I press into its void. I have become pregnant with its dreams. I am aroused by its texture. I now cultivate my aloneness like a Japanese garden. I am outside and in the middle at the same time, stark and integrated. She was moving in its beauty continuously.
Yes, let that
Today is the beginning of a fiery summer day. In this smoke-lined city, I can sometimes taste your body rising above fireballs and alcohol fumes fights at 3 a.m. in that vivid tone you reserved for your instrument and exhaustion. Almost a perfect pose as you enter and settle in. But I want more. Inhaling your breath, filling me with liquid love. My mouth sometimes could not contain all of you. How I crave you now in that hot steam of my city room, painted red for some reason under all white wraps. To this day, I wonder what you do in your new town, so hot and dry there, so perfect.